Hi guys, Squirrel here. American Truck Simulator 1.5 is out as a public beta. In this video, I shall take you through the changes and give you my thoughts on the biggest change to the game since it was released. Let's talk about some of the minor changes in 1.5. First up, there are now two new chassis options, a 6x2 and a 6x2 mid-lift, available for the built-in trucks. Secondly, you can now search for parts when configuring trucks. This change has been brought over from Euro Truck Simulator 2, and if, like me, you run a lot of part mods, you'll find that this is very useful indeed. Simply type in the thing that you want to search for into the box and it automatically filters down. Now, if you have low pressure simulation turned on, then you'll have to manually disengage your parking brake whenever you get a low pressure warning. This change was made to make it more accurately simulate real life trucking. Finally, when you approach weigh stations, you will sometimes be able to skip being weighed. When the dialog pops up, if it has a green light, you can continue to drive, and if it's a red light, you must pull in for an inspection. And now on to the big change in 1.5, the rescaling of the map. Now, when American Truck Simulator was released back in February this year, it had a scale of 1 to 35. What this means is that 1 mile of driving in the game is equivalent to about 35 miles of driving in real life. So a drive from Phoenix to LA, which is around 370 miles, would be scaled by a factor of 35 and represented in the game by about 11 miles of road. Another way of thinking of this is that you could complete the journey in about 35 times quicker than you could in real life. So if it took you 5.5 hours to drive this journey in real life, then in ATS you could do it in about 9 minutes depending on what speed you drove at. Euro Truck Simulator 2, on the other hand, has always had a scale of 1 to 20, which means a similar length journey across Europe would be represented by 19 miles of road, and the journey would take you almost 17 minutes to complete instead of 9. That's almost twice as long in Euro Truck compared to American Truck Simulator. The effect of this is to make the map in American Truck Simulator feel a lot smaller. You leave one city and before you know it, you're entering another. But all this has changed. With ATS Release 1.5, the map has been rescaled to 1 to 20. This brings it in line with Euro Truck Simulator 2 and also means that any map mods that you have are going to break, as they will also need to be rescaled by their author. But how good is the job? How well has SCS rescaled the American map? Have they spaced things out and simply stretched out the longer roads between the cities? Well, thankfully not. This rescale is not simply a matter of making roads longer and plains wider. They've actually manually added roads, more intersections, and even minor towns. Indeed, when you open the map screen in 1.5, you'll see that all the roads are grey, meaning that you've never driven down them. Such is the thoroughness of this change. There are more gas stations too, and even a brand new city on the west coast, Santa Maria. The net effect of all this is that when you drive in ATS now, everything feels slowed down. A long drive feels like a long drive. The roads twist and turn, they undulate, they split, and they rejoin. There's lots of vegetation, rocks, fences, telephone and power cables, and 1,000 minor improvements that make the land more beautiful than ever before. ATS genuinely feels enormous now, and I feel small driving my truck in it. This is by far the biggest and best change that SCS has made to ATS since its launch, and it truly makes the game more enjoyable to play. Perhaps if the map had been at this scale when American Truck Simulator was released earlier this year, then the game would not have received as much criticism as it did. But that's all water under the bridge now. The fact is, this 1.5 update has made American Truck Simulator great again. It's genuinely a pleasure to drive in ATS now. To experience 1.5 before it's released, simply right-click on the game in Steam, choose Properties, and opt into 1.5 Public Beta in the Betas tab. Then I suggest that you put your favourite album on, get into your rig, and immerse yourself in pure American trucking.